welcome to Nobody's Listening, the podcast where I sit around and talk to myself because nobody else cares what I have to say. This week, I am doing another Am I the Asshole because I am lazy. It is my son's first birthday this week, so I've been a busy lady. And so I pulled up four, I think I have here, four, and I'm just gonna do like I did in my first episode, explain how I feel about them, and what I was thinking. Okay, so the first one is, and I tried not to pick any that had a decided result at the time I'm filming this, and I didn't really look through the comments much. I have them all open on my computer, so if I'm feeling like it, I will. So, am I the asshole for refusing to walk my daughter down the aisle? Which my initial thought process was yes, definitely. But I needed, this is why you can't go off titles. So my daughter, who's a 26-year-old female, and I haven't spoken in years. When she was 15, she found out she wasn't my biological daughter, and my wife had cheated on me years ago with a friend. As it turns out, this so-called friend was suddenly interested in playing dad. My wife and I divorced. My daughter learned the truth, and I told her I still loved her no matter what. Of course, she was interested in getting to know her biological father, and while hurt, I tried to accept that. She started pulling away from me after that, even when trying to still do things together as a family, she was no longer interested. The last straw was when she was 20 and living at my house. We were arguing because she had dropped out of her college courses and hadn't done anything for 3 months, and was mad that I told her she either needed to go back to school or work if she wanted to stay here for free, which I definitely think that that's a valid point to be making for an adult. She told me I'm not her real dad, so stop pretending like I am, and she'll just go stay with her real father. That honestly broke me. I told her that if that's how she really feels, then there's nothing left to say between us. That would have been so heartbreaking to hear. And she did move out and go live with him. I was depressed for a very long time, drank so much, and my son, a 24-year-old male, was the only reason I keep moving forward. At least he had somebody, though. For the first couple of years, I reached out to my daughter. She wanted no contact. I learned to accept that and moved on. It helped me to find more peace in my life. My son stopped talking to her for a while over this, and was angry with her. They still chat sometimes, which doesn't bother me at all. Through him, I learned that her biological father died in October of 2019 and that she's engaged. She reached out to me first that she knows that we haven't talked in a while. I feel like that's an exaggeration. But she wants to ask me if I'd be willing to walk her down the aisle after a pretty long message about how she hurt me in the past with her actions. I told her no. Which you have every right to do, because she kind of sounds like a bitch. She didn't want me to be her father anymore, so I had learned to no longer view her as my daughter. This turned into a fight between us, because according to her, that's not her fault that she wanted to know her real dad, which yeah, it's not her fault, but and I agreed with her, it's not. But what was her fault is how she treated me ever since, which that's a very good point. Don't be an asshole. In my mind, I know if he hadn't passed, we wouldn't even be speaking right now. It ended with me telling her that I hope she enjoys her wedding, but I want no part of it or her life. My son's told me that she's ranting to my family, that I'm ruining her day, and she thought parents are supposed to love their kids unconditionally, which it's interesting that now suddenly he's the parent after he hasn't been her dad for however many years. You're not my real dad, but you should treat me like I am your daughter because now I need you for something, sir. My brother seems to think that I am being an asshole, and this is my chance to be in her life again. But I have no interest in that, which is okay. I don't think that that's wrong. Still seems that everyone has a strong opinion on it that I'm making it very difficult for my daughter to have the wedding she always wanted when it would mean a lot to her. My son is on my side, but the comments are still wearing me down. So just for the sake of my sanity, am I being an asshole? And I'm gonna say no. Because that's, like, I feel like anyone who really thinks this guy's being an asshole is also an asshole. Like, how do you... Like, if I turned to my dad and I just walked out on him right now, I don't know why I would do that. And, like, left to go be with my stepdad or something, and it's like, fuck you, Dad. Don't like you anymore. Then he would eventually, my dad would probably not get over it, but we'll pretend that my dad would get over it. If my dad did get over that, then I would not blame him at all if he never wanted to see me again. Ooh, again with the yawns. I don't understand how there's actual family members. I also wonder, because it says that she's ranting to his family, if she, like, kept in touch with everybody in his family except for him and was just like, I hate you, to this man that raised her for 15 years. Yeah, 15 years. Like, that's a good amount of time to be in someone's life, to be raising somebody. 0 to 15, and then be like, oh, I hate you now. Because, like, yeah, teenagers are like, I hate my parents, but, you know, this guy raised you, and presumably the friend knew that it was his kid, and he just didn't want to play along until she turned 15. Also, the mom's an asshole. Like, just putting it out there that the biggest asshole here is the mom. Because if she didn't cheat on him, this wouldn't have ever been an issue. So, dad's not the asshole, mom's an asshole, even though she's not really mentioned in this. Just my humble opinion as someone who nobody cares about their opinion. This one triggered me. This one talks about food, so I'm gonna put that out there. Yawns. This one upset me a lot. So, am I the asshole for buying my daughter frozen dinners? But, like, I feel like I picked ones that were just all really misleading, not misleading titles, but titles that lead your brain to think one way when that is not the way that the rest of the article is phrased. Article. It's a Reddit post. So, I, a 47-year-old male, took my daughter, 14-year-old female, to urgent care for a double ear infection yesterday. They took her weight, and she was about 15 to 20 pounds overweight for her height and age. Now, quick reminder that they are using the BMI scale for this, I assume, which is a very flawed system. And I don't want people to look at this as just like an overweight girl, like fat positivity and whatever. Like, that's not anything that's not the direction I'm leading this to be in. Because first off, I am trying to lose weight. I see nothing wrong with healthy weight loss if it's no matter what the reason is, as long as you're being healthy and you're trying to do it and take care of yourself, just stay out of other people's business. But also, 15 to 20 pounds is really not a lot. At 14, I am 5 feet tall. I was 5 feet tall then too. I weighed about 120 pounds and I was a competitive runner. I was like an anorexic cross-country runner. I literally ate one meal a day. And I was 120 pounds. And the weight range, like the high bar for healthy weight as a 5 foot tall person is like 108 pounds. If I showed you a picture of what I looked like, though, you'd be like, there is nothing to you. I was so skinny, you could like see my ribs, and I was a runner, and so I ran miles and miles and miles every day. And I was just teeny tiny. So, yeah. I don't care. I just think that they need to abolish that system. And, like, I know it's just a tool used to help further people's understanding of, like, where they should be weight-wise. But, like, it definitely needs to be revamped. That's all I'm gonna put out there. I was shocked by this and asked her if she exercises at my ex-wife's house. Because exercise is all that matters. I exercise every day. I'm not losing that weight like that. And she says that since she takes violin lessons 4 times per week and tutors the other 2 days, she doesn't get home until after 6 every night, has dinner, then takes a shower, does homework, so exercising can be difficult to achieve. Good points. She says she walks the dogs for 45 minutes every morning and evening. I told her that we are going to walk every night while she's at my house and that her current weight needs to come down. I don't think you're supposed to put 14-year-olds on diets like that. I'm pretty sure that's incredibly bad for their physical health because you are not done growing. Once again, coming from someone who is in the medical field, although I am not a doctor, I am not a nurse yet. Both of those are things that I will eventually be achieving. I am in school to become a nurse right now, eventually with the hopes to become a doctor. But I do have yawns. I have knowledge on nutrition that I am working on and growing, especially because I've been trying to lose weight myself. And so this is just frustrating to me. I told her I didn't want to make her feel awkward about it, and she could talk to me. She nodded and just turned away. Yeah, I would have been like, fuck you, Dad. I probably would have, like, started fighting, but I'm a fighter. Today I went to the store and bought Weight Watchers frozen stir-fry bowls and told her if she was going to eat dinner tonight, she could have one of those. If she is going to eat dinner. Grounded, Dad. Dad's grounded. No. She looked at me and asked, is 180 calories enough for dinner? Not in most cases, no. Not for an adult, so definitely not for a growing teenager who needs more calories than an adult. Unless you had a huge late lunch, then you could have like a small dinner, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm also not a registered dietitian. I know a lot of dietitians will say no. I replied yes and said that if she's still hungry, she can have yogurt. I would punch my dad in the head. She went to her room and hasn't spoken to me since. My ex-wife texted me and said that her daughter has called her crying and said that she called me harsh and an ass for what I did. Am I the asshole for trying to get her to be healthy? Yes, you are an asshole, and I hope that your daughter doesn't talk to you anymore because you're going to give her an eating disorder. When you give your daughter an eating disorder, then you can be the one that deals with the fact that she's going to suffer for the rest of her life with that, and you are a disgusting parent and don't deserve your children. That is all. Also, there's an edit here. I proposed that she do a sport. She says she doesn't have time because of orchestra. I told her maybe orchestra was something she could come back to after doing a sport. She didn't say anything, only stared at me, went on her phone, and started typing something seemingly very angrily. I do not know what to do. What you could do is you could stop being a dick face. Can you tell this one made me mad? Oh my god. This just made me so mad. Okay, next one. I gotta cool down. What are you guys having for dinner tonight? I had spaghetti tonight. Okay, back on this. Am I the asshole for not wanting my sister and her boyfriend to move in? I'm gonna say no. But maybe this one will be like the other two where the title is not equate to the name or to the post necessarily. I, a 24-year-old female, used to be close with my sister who is a 27-year-old female when we were young kids. I didn't even like my sister until like I was out of high school, so good for them when they were close, when they were friends. When we went to high school, we gradually grew apart. She went to college in another state, and we did stay in touch. I graduated from college and landed a wonderful job. Oh, well, congratulations. I've been dating my girlfriend, who is a 25-year-old female, since last year. She recently got a job, and we've been talking about moving in together. I've been looking for a townhouse, and we found one close to work. Oh, that's nice. I put an offer through and it was accepted. Yay! The housing market right now, this was posted like yesterday. So the housing market right now and townhouses and apartments are insane. We just moved, so that's actually incredibly exciting. I'm not due to move until the end of September. The townhouse is 2 floors with 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. I let my girlfriend tour the townhouse and she loved it. That's so nice. Girlfriend and I talked about payments and she is more than happy to split the bills. Oh, this sounds like it'll work out very nicely. My sister and her new boyfriend came back due to both of them losing their jobs. I treated them to lunch and let them know I was planning on moving into the townhouse. They're currently living with the boyfriend's brother in his apartment. Alright, so at least they're not homeless. Just not ideal. They asked if they could live in the 2nd bedroom. I told them it would be used for guests. Her boyfriend is a huge smoker and I don't like the idea of the place smelling like smoke. After telling them no, they got argumentative and sister told me not to contact her unless I changed my mind. It's been a few days since I've heard from her and I'm starting to feel like a huge asshole for not wanting them to move in. Am I the asshole for not wanting my sister and her boyfriend to move in? I'm actually going to read the comments on this one in a second, but I don't think so. I don't think this is an asshole thing. I think that it's your place, you're paying for it, and you don't owe anyone anything. Especially if you guys aren't really close anymore. Because you don't know if she's just gonna kind of like plant herself here. This makes me think of Moose had gotten himself, he had some friends move in with him at one point, and then the friends just completely took over and made his life a living hell. I won't give many details on that. It's not really my story to tell, although I was involved and it was a huge mess. So you don't know if they're going to be people who just don't pay and don't help. If they were like going to be paying and helping and you were closer with them, then you would still not be the asshole, but it would be a little more understandable to let them live there. But I don't think there's really any way to say like, oh, not letting people live with you makes you an asshole. I wouldn't want my sister moving in. My sister I actually would probably let move in, but because I know she'd only be here for like 3 months and she would also pay rent. And the top comment is, not the asshole. This is your first new home that you will be moving into with your partner. It is completely understandable that you don't want another couple to move in as well, especially since it is blatantly clear that they will ignore all your boundaries. Their financial woes are sad, but it's not up to you to solve them. Don't let her blackmail you into doing something you will very much regret. Congrats on your new home, and I hope you and your girlfriend are very happy there. And then the next person that replied is, their reaction is very telling and definitely be a nightmare to live with. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I agree still. Like, I was, like, wondering if I would find a differing opinion. But no, I think that that just reinforces what I thought.
People move in with you, not even your best friend.
What?
So don't let people move in with you, not even your best friend.
Yeah. Moose said don't let people move in with you, not even your best friend,
Because
because
they will not be your best friend afterwards.
this is true. Moose and I even have problems living together because I'm a pain in the ass. Can I tell the story?
You know which details to leave out.
Yeah.
I hope.
Okay, so I am gonna tell the story. So his friend.
Change names.
I'm not gonna use their names. So, his friend and his friend's girlfriend, fiance person moved in with him when he was living in a house he was renting from his mom as a favor to them because they were trying to leave a not great situation, and especially because she was pregnant and they have a child, and so, you know, he was trying to be a good person and a good friend. And this was a very, very close friend of his. It's not like it was just like some friend that, you know, it's not like it was me, you know. Like, this person had meant a lot to him growing up, and so he was trying to do them a favor. And a lot of things went down where they started not helping out and not following any sort of rules or having any regard for how Moose felt and what Moose needed in his life, and including actually getting me banned from going over there because he rented it out from his mother, who is not a friend of mine. We are civil now, but at that time we were very much not civil. And it definitely caused some issues between me and them. And then, so not only did I get banned from going over there, but eventually, you know, cutting a lot of corners here, skipping a lot of the detail, Moose was pretty much like saying to his mother, who was his landlord as well, you need to get them out. They're not helping. They're disrespecting me. They're disrespecting you. And they are disrespecting the law. There was some legal issues that I don't feel comfortable bringing into this on their part. And he said, I'm not comfortable with them being here, and you need to help me kick them out because they won't listen to me. And it was pretty much a pitting him against his own mother, and his own mother decided that she was not going to help her dear son in this particular situation. So that's part of the reason we would never let anyone live with us. Except, I mean, I would probably let my sister live here because I know she wouldn't stay. She would stay here over my mother's house. Not that it's that bad. She would have more free reign here. But my sister and I also have a different type of relationship than the siblings in this Reddit post. My sister and I are actually close, and I would only ever let my sister stay here if she was actively looking for another place to go to at that time. And it was like oh no, I have 2 months until I can move in. What do I do? And I'd be like, alright, well, you can stay here. But it would obviously be a decision between me and Moose as well. It wouldn't just be being like, me coming home and be like, hey babe, Katie's gonna live here now.
I'd let her stay for a few months.
I wouldn't let her stay for more than like 6 months. I don't even know that I'd let her stay for 3 months, honestly. I have to be completely honest. Like I said, the reasoning I would give for her to be allowed to be here is I am in between housing. I have found another house. I need a place to be until said other house is ready for me to move in. Because that happens sometimes. We had to do an extra month at our old place because we didn't have the availability to move in anywhere right away. Luckily, we had the option to do month-to-month payments, but not everywhere has that choice. And so sometimes you have to jump around a little bit. But if it was something like the situation I was just speaking of, then I would let her stay. But really, outside of that, I don't think there's many situations I would let anyone stay here. And I would have a very tough time thinking about any friends. I don't really have any friends. So it wouldn't be an issue of friends staying here with me. Okay. I have one more pulled up. So it's, am I the asshole for threatening to move in with my mother full time? The last one I don't think was misleading in the title. Well, like I said, not misleading, but title goes a different way than what you would think. But I don't know exactly what this one's even hinting at, honestly. So this person is a 15-year-old female. Parents have been divorced since I was 5. I relate. And they've both remarried since. I don't know if anyone heard Moose, but he just said, "What's a dad?"
You can tell them.
Yeah, Moose doesn't have a dad. Moose just raised himself, honestly. So, I have 6 siblings out of the house. One still live with, all from my dad's side. That was phrased weird, but I think we get the point. Maybe I just don't know how to read. I live with my mom and stepdad/dad, 53, and stepmom, 34. On a weekend schedule. A week on, week off schedule. I don't know how to read. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So it's, yeah, she lives with the stepdad and the mom one week, and then the dad and the stepmom the next week. And the stepmom is 20 years younger than her dad, which is not necessarily relevant, but it was relevant enough for her to put her dad and his wife's age, but not her mom and her husband's age. Never had an issue with this until the past year. Every time I am at my dad's, it's a complete mess. My little brother is a 3-year-old and is a nightmare. He's a whole different story. My cats are visibly distressed and dirty. The house looks like a tornado ran through it. I spend the first day or so cleaning things up in my bedroom and bathroom because they get used while I'm away. What are they using her bedroom for when she's not there? I have to bathe my brother and clean the litter boxes, which I wouldn't mind, but they only get cleaned when I'm around every 2 weeks. Because my dad and stepmom don't do it. That's not nice to the cats. They rely on me for the majority of cleaning and cooking while I'm around. That's not nice. She's 15. That's so not nice. And clearly aren't doing much to raise my brother until I come back. Who knows what goes on while I'm at my mom's? That's so negligent. I don't like that. I have like this image of like a family in like one of those hoarders houses with like, it's like smoking meth and this child just running around right now in my head. But the dad's like, I don't know if that's actually what's happening, but that's where my brain went. This week I came back with and it was the last straw for me. The toilet had mold in it. Gross. And it was a thin layer of garbage in my bedroom that wasn't there when I left. Once again, what are they doing in her bedroom? The smell was horrid. I usually don't get upset over things that aren't my responsibility to clean. But it was awful. Yeah, I would also get upset. I would actually be very pissed off. Somehow, the entire house looked like an episode of Hoarders in the span of a week. Okay, so I actually didn't fully read this one ahead of time, and so that was maybe like I saw the word Hoarders and I was thinking about it, but that's, yeah, I think they're describing exactly what I'm thinking about. He yawns. I finally snapped on my dad and told him everything. I asked why there was always garbage everywhere and what they do while I'm away, and he dodged my questions. They were smoking meth. That's my opinion. I told him if this continued that I would live with my mom full time, and I would probably do the same if I'm being honest. He got angry and flipped out on me. He said something along the lines of how if I loved him and my stepmom, then I would help with the house, and never to threaten to move out like that. My stepmom got involved too, and said similar things, because they're both bitches. My mom respects my decision either way. Am I the asshole? I still love them, of course, but I can't deal with having to clean up the house and take care of their child every time I come back there. And no, 15-year-old child, it is not your job to parent a child that is not yours. Although it will be hard for that child without you, it is not your job. And your dad and stepmom need to reevaluate their lives. Like, how do you just go through your life and think that? Like, oh yeah, it's okay, I don't mind cleaning this, I don't mind doing it. Like, if they're your cats, yes, you should have to take care of them. But like, I would go to my dad's on weekends and stuff growing up. I had a cat at my mom's. My mom would take care of my cat when I wasn't there, because otherwise that would have been animal cruelty. Do they not feed the cat? I would not. It's not like they're gonna have to parent their son. They don't have a choice, because otherwise CPS is getting involved. They're turning you into the parent, and they're trying to make you their slave, and they suck. And I hate them. I hate them for you. You're welcome. So yeah, you're not the asshole. They're assholes. Everybody here is an asshole except for you and that 3-year-old. Actually, only your dad and your stepmom are the asshole now that I think about it, because your mom's not an asshole either. Yeah, I don't like that. This actually makes me sad. Makes me really sad. Well, that was a fun way to end. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast where I sit here and talk to myself because nobody else cares what I have to say. And I will see you next week on Nobody's Listening. Thank you.